3. Welcome to this edition of the Native News Update on this Monday, November 9th. I'm your host for today's program, Paul Demain. Many of the stories viewed here can also be found at our website at IndianCountryNews.com. Here are the news stories from the day, for the day, from the Associated Press and other Native American news sources. The Kickapoo tribe in Kansas has won its argument that it is entitled to sovereign immunity as a federally recognized Indian tribe. U.S. District Judge Richard Rogers cited the tribal immunity last week when he tossed out a discrimination lawsuit filed by the former acting casino manager. Robert Nanomantubi claimed in his suit that as a tribal descendant he was entitled to Indian preference under the tribe's employment policies. The job he wanted went to a non-native. The judge said in his written order that the federal court lacked jurisdiction to hear the case. With some American Indian groups waiting for decades, congressional officials pledged last week to overhaul the cumbersome process, but cautioned the changes could take 2 years or more to go into effect. Federal recognition renders tribes eligible for economic assistance, land, housing grants, and other governmental benefits under treaties and legislation. Decisions on whether tribes qualify are supposed to be made by the Department of Interior within 25 months, yet some tribes have seen their petitions languish within the agency's Bureau of Indian Affairs for 30 years or more without an answer. We have survived Indian removal, genocide, the Civil War, the burning of our courthouse at Ann Tucker, chair of the Muskogee Nation of Florida. We have waited long enough for a broken process to determine our fate. Members of the Muskogee tribe began their drive for recognition in 1978 and are now among 15 Indian groups waiting for a final determination. Those include 5 in California, 3 in Louisiana, and others in Michigan, New York, Georgia, North Carolina, Wisconsin, and New Mexico. Another 80 groups remain mirrored in the early stages of a federal process that can cost millions of dollars to navigate, far more than some can afford. More Native Americans smoke than any other racial population in the United States. They start smoking younger, and nearly 18% of Native Americans lose their lives to cancer each year. As we recognize Native American Heritage Month and Lung Cancer Awareness Month, EX offers a free way to break the smoking addiction. This month, the National Quit Smoking Program, EX, will debut the second phase of advertising and promotions designed to help smokers relearn life without cigarettes. For smokers committed to quitting, the EX website at becomeanx.org provides a free comprehensive quit plan with tools and information that can help you form their own individual plans. The website serves as a convening point for smokers who want to quit and collaborate on their successes and challenges with others going through the same struggle. EX tools were designed in collaboration with the Mayo Clinic in order to provide smokers with a realistic approach based on evidence-based research. EX is a collaborative public health campaign presented by the National Alliance for Tobacco Cessation, a partnership of the nation's leading public health organization and states. Swine flu has appeared among Venezuela's Yanomami tribe, one of the largest isolated indigenous groups in the Amazon, and a doctor said last week that the virus is suspected in 7 deaths, including the death of 6 infants. The deaths happened in forest villages near Venezuela's border with Brazil over the past 2.5 weeks, said Raiden Bernandi, a Venezuelan doctor on a team sent to contain the outbreak and treat the ill. Bernardi said the doctors confirmed one of those who died had swine flu, a 35-year-old Yanomami woman who doctors believe was pregnant. 6 babies, the oldest of whom was about 1 year old, died from similar symptoms, though samples weren't taken in time to confirm it was the swine flu. Bernardi said by phone from La Esmeralda, a riverside town on the edge of the vast rainforest territory where the Yanomami live. He said the victims had fever and coughing at first and suffered complications from pneumonia. The deaths were reported last week by the London-based indigenous rights group Survival International, which warned that if not properly contained, the virus could spread and cause more deaths among people who are particularly susceptible to the disease due to their limited contact with the outside world. Suspected swine flu is also sweeping a traditional Eskimo whaling village in on a remote Alaska island, prompting an urgent medical mission to deliver help. Diomede is probably the most isolated place in the United States right now, said David Head, a doctor involved in the effort. So many of the 130 residents of Diomede have been stricken with flu-like symptoms that the Alaska Army National Guard stepped in with a Black Hawk helicopter to transport a medical team from Nome, 135 miles away, where Head is chief of staff at Norton Sound Health Corporation. Diomede, located less than 3 miles from Russia's Big Diomede Island in the Bering Strait, is all the more isolated because passenger air service was halted 4 months ago when the sole helicopter used for that purpose was sidelined for repairs. There's no way for people to get out of here, said 73-year-old Patrick Omiak Sr., the village tribal council president. He was among the many in the village to get the flu vaccinations that were delivered by a doctor and public health nurse who arrived last Thursday from Nome. The medical team also brought enough medicines such as Tamiflu to treat every resident if necessary. Omiak has not gotten sick, but said many in the community are fighting symptoms including runny noses and bad coughs. Many residents whose home have no running water are Ingalikmiut Eskimos who depend on subsistence foods, hunting bowhead whale, walrus, and seal along with fish and other crab. For the Reverend Anna Frank, it's all about God's plan with a little bit of Elvis thrown in for fun. Frank laughs about the Elvis posters and the paraphernalia that fill her office at the Episcopal Diocese of Alaska Chancery, where she is jokingly referred to as the Elvis Shrine. I even have an Elvis phone, and I get an Elvis calendar every year, she adds with a laugh. In 1993, Frank became the first Native American woman ordained as a priest in the Episcopal Church. In the intervening years, her work and reputation has spread nationally and internationally, and she has been a recipient of many prestigious awards. Last month, Frank was honored with the Alaska Federation of Natives President's Award for Public Service at the AFN Convention in Anchorage for her years of service and prison ministry outreach. She calls the latest recognition all part of God's plan. The official United States Capitol Christmas tree was harvested on November 7th, a ceremony with White Mountain Apache dancers, Apache blessings, choral music, and Arizona's official historian Marshall Trimble was scheduled to be held this last week and commemorate the historical event. For the first time in history, Arizona had been invited to provide the United States Congress with the Capitol Christmas tree. Placed in front of the Capitol building, Arizona's gift from the Grand Canyon State is an 85-foot blue spruce selected from the Apache Sitgraves National Forest. Found in the White Mountains of northeastern Arizona, the tree will travel throughout Arizona November 10th through the 19th. The tour continues across the nation, where it is then presented to the United States Congress on November 30th. The iconic symbol of the holidays will be lit during a ceremony by the Speaker of the House, along with a Arizona schoolchild who has made an ornament for the tree. For more information on that tree and where it's going and when it gets there, you can go to the website capitolchristmastree2009.org. And a little bit closer to home, we have a live stream feed coming up here on Wednesday, November 11th for the annual Veterans Day powwow on the Lakota Ojibwe Reservation. Visit us for that live feed at the front of our webpage at IndianCountryTV.com, starting around noon on Wednesday and going all the way into the late evening until it's over. So stay with us on that. And that's the latest roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. We want to thank all you for joining with us, and come back and join with us again soon. Miigwech.